very menial things, but I think they show that I'm willing to do this on a larger scale as well. And I think with the student government backing, I believe that these things can move a lot faster, it can move a lot easier, and so these are the kind of changes that I hope that you will trust me to make as part of the student government. And I think the third one is really having the heart. So my own leadership philosophy is to lead by example and to encourage the heart. So the way I do it in Kids Accomplish really is through like our welfare. And so we are the only student organization in Yale US which has like a welfare pack for our volunteers like at the end of every semester. So it's something that the NUS faculties do. And so I feel like these sort of little things which help to not only bind the student government together, but also bind the student government with the students in Yale and US. Like, I think this is something which is lacking a little in the student government. And so I hope I've convinced you that I'm well equipped with this sort of character, leadership, and experience to really be your voice and be a leader. And so I hope that you will vote for me for the student government. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Aditya Karkera from the class of 2020. I'm a freshman running for student council. I think the saying goes that brevity is the soul of wit, so while I'm not witty, I will be brief. So essentially, my campaign platform focuses on three things. The first is the student government itself. The second is long-term and ambitious institution building. And the third being basically the attitude and participation of students in government. So the student government itself is perfect. Good job, props to the previous government. Shout out to them. But I think I agree with the candidates on the other candidates on the fact that students do not know how the student government works. But I disagree with them on the cause. So I don't think it's ignorance as much as apathy. I have a feeling students on campus don't see government as an exciting avenue for leadership, or as we have talented leaders on campus, but they don't see government as a kind of channel for them to really engage their leadership. So if I were elected to student government, one of the first things I would do is to engage government in activities that would seem less bureaucratic and more central to this college's development in general. So activities such as expanding the government to ensure that we have a more streamlined process of forming organizations, so that if anyone comes up with an idea for an organization, it isn't killed in the crib by the procedures and the fact that they may not get funding or administrative support. The second thing is to include unelected government workers within government to ensure that we have wider participation and a larger workforce, so that the government is not stretched so thin that we are unable to serve the student body that we are bound to. The second thing is large-scale long-term institution building. So we are at the precipice. As a college, we are at the bleeding edge of this college's lifespan, so to speak. We are not coming to a standstill, more or less. We are about to jump off, the way I see it. And we have no idea where we will be. I mean, to quote the bard, to quote Shakespeare, I think from Hamlet, I'm not sure. We know what we are, but we know not what we may be. So that kind of uncertainty should not be anxiety-inducing for students, but through student government, it can be exciting, it can be thrilling to be a part of the organization that really steers this college forward, this student body forward, more than practically any other organization on campus. So moving on from there, general attitude and other institutions. So one of my main platform points is, one of the three main is setting up microcredit for books. So there's this idea of, if you are a student on financial aid, or if you are a student who is broke, I mean, college students get broke, it's a thing. One too many Indomies. But if you are a student who requires money for academic purposes, namely books, you can and should be able to approach the government for support and then be able to repay the government on a monthly basis at no rate, actually. The government would be a lending hand to ensure that you don't have to run from corner to corner just to get the very books you need to do academically well on campus. And the second thing is this burning problem of unused meal taps, which I want to address. There seems to be a lot of debate on how unused meal taps should be used, whether they should be carried forward, whether they should be reused by students. So that's one thing I'd like to address and find a way to settle. But finally, yes, my goal is to make student government an organization that is less tepid to students. I'm sure it's not tepid to us, we love it, but less tepid to students, and kind of bringing this feverish fire in them. You know, we are the organization that drives forward this student body, and like Avery said, we allocate student organization funding. So in a sense, we also drive the direction they're moving in. So all in all, yes, that is my vision for what I'd like to do in student government and what I would like student government to do in general. And a vote for me would really be a vote for a government that is as expansive as it is empathetic to your needs. Like, building bridges is something I would endorse, but I would really think of making it a direct relationship between faculty and students. So we could have faculty-student roundtables once a month or as regularly as is needed, where students can directly interact with the heads of relevant faculty. Just so that the problem is now, because there is a barrier, there is, let's call it a closed bridge that can be opened when needed. It kind of festers. We have views of students festering among students. We have the views of the faculty festering among the faculty. And either we are poor mediators or there's no need for mediators. So at the end of the day, I'd like to improve the mediation process. I'd like to have a government that inspires excitement, that really gets the best minds on campus to join and work with, even if they're unelected, but have talent. And finally, yes, I'd like to provide basic amenities that students really require to succeed on campus. Thank you, and vote for me.
Hi, I'm Tilo. I was from the class of 2017. I took a year off school, and now I'm in the class of 2018. I'm from Elm College. I'm not as articulate as many of the candidates that have come before me. Sorry, I'm not as articulate as many of the candidates that have come before me. But here's what I offer you. I offer you the experience that I have being here since day one. You know, I could stand for many things, all these like mental health issues, bridging the gaps between faculty and students. But you know, I've been here since day one. You think we haven't been advocating for that since day one? Like, I'm sorry, if those things worked, like, we wouldn't all be here, okay? Everything would be fine. So what my platform is a listening ear. I want to listen to you and what the problems you think are there in school. Because, you know, the problems that appear to me are just things that I know of, and like, if I put my platform campaign, sure, I'll run for them, I'll advocate for them, but like, they're not going to be important to you if you don't care about them. And like, there's no way I'm going to know what your problems are unless you tell someone, and I want to be the person who you come to just to say, okay, I have a problem with this in school, you know, this is troubling me, you know, I can't call you and just college my home because this one thing is troubling me. And you know, I don't think that these platforms, these grandstanding platforms that everyone's been talking about, like, they don't work. What works is you a student, having the opportunity or having the knowledge that you can go to someone and be like, this is a problem for me, let's fix it. And I'll be like, okay, you know what, I'll listen, I can't promise that we'll fix it, but we can try to make it better. And that's basically my platform. Since I've been here from day one, I've been on many of the committees that have written the constitution, some of the curriculum advisory meetings, but like, I know how empathetic school is. If someone could turn the camera around and show how many people are here right now, it would tell you this: no one in school has time for everything. No one. Like, hello, no one. So, and I know how little time you have, and to be honest, like, I know that Centennials care, but I know that people have limited amounts of time. And so I think that student government should be able to concise these things for students. You know, we should be the signposts to help them get where they want to be. And you know, other people in the government will have their ideas and will have their platforms, but I promise that I'll be the candidate, I'll be the member of student government who will be there to listen and to show you, point in the right direction. Maybe you don't need my help, and that's great. But I can tell you where to find someone who can help you better than I can. And that is my campaign platform, basically. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's start one more time. Could you have a name call once more?
I'm Shardul. Glenn.
Avery.
Anandita?
Sarah. Saza.
Timo.
And sorry, your name is?
Oh, Aditya.
Aditya. Thank you.
Yeah, Nurali and Michael left. You've been watching the video the whole time, haven't you, Watcher? All right. So now don't worry, don't turn around. Now I'll briefly talk about. So Subhash, Logan Yi, and Sun Wu were unable to come here tonight, but I'll put a link right here on the video to their video on YouTube, and you can go watch that. They gave me forewarning, so they get a little boost. Right, now, did you get any more? No? Okay. What? So now we move into the questions, and I'll throw to Regina first, because I think she's been typing away vigorously.
Oh yeah, I have questions for everyone.
Excellent. So
Should I ask questions for each person or should I ask
let's
questions?
start general.
Okay.
If someone doesn't give you a satisfying answer, we can be
Okay,
more
yeah.
specific.
Thanks everyone for many of your different platforms. I think you've identified a lot of the issues that our student government has faced and previous student government as well. So I think one of the central challenges for the student government is apathy, civic participation is lacking. And the other issue is trust. So trust between students and the student government, trust that things that their feedback will be carried out. If not, why would anyone give feedback? As well as trust between the student government, administration, leadership, staff, faculty, which I think my student government has improved, but it's debatable. So there are these three issues, right? So I'll ask about civic participation first. As you can see, not a lot of people are here. So how do you think your student government will address this issue that people do not feel inclined to go for student government meetings? Our meetings are open, but we rarely get people, maybe one or two. And
Every single one.
yeah. And advance all these ideas that you have, because if nobody is listening to you or participating in the committees that you want to set up, the unelected committees, then what will you do? Repeat
Okay.
the questions.
Yeah. And please, brief answers. Just short to the point. Okay. Yep.
Okay. So as I mentioned briefly, I think that we're not going about it the right way. I think that repeatedly